Day, ladies and gentlemen. Come with little Miss Ivy and I as we descend deeper into the dwellings of demons. Warning, warning, warning. The demons will eat your brains down here if they sense the least amount of doubt. So I have to make sure you understand the basics before we can move forward. Allow me to ask you a question, gentle strangers. Can anyone tell me why my God said not to have an image of anything, thus everything? Who said that? Who said Enoch? Right, little Miss Ivy. Right. Because Uncle Enoch already told us the fallen watchers defiled every plant against plant, animal against animal, and worst of all, human against animals, which can only mean nothing, and I mean nothing, we see before us today on top of the earth is in its original form. Think about it like Dr. Monroe for just a minute. Have you ever taken a gander at what Uncle Ezekiel saw? I mean, amazing, which can only mean the images of humans with fish feet, yeah, fish feet, was real. Lobsters with human eyes was real. Humans with lobsters' eyes was real. Minotaurs, centaurs, men with beaver tails are all real and can't wait to take their turf back. This is the real reason my God had to make a blanket command of anything. Why? Because everything is now defiled into the evildoers' images. There is no telling what unintended consequences will happen when you are dealing with the miscongeniations of the genus lines. Wait, I lied. Just look at the Egyptian gods, and seeing we were just released from Egypt's iron furnace, my God was separating us completely from what our ancestors was born into believing. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we have already discovered through a couple of scriptures with understanding the Egyptians have always been talking to the people under the stairs. You remember the counselor to Pharaoh bragging about being the son of ancient kings, etc.? So why is it so hard to believe they have actually had dinner together? It's a no-brainer. If my God took you away from a nation who prayed and had images of hybrid animal human things of the heavens, bird head, under the earth, jackal head, and the waters under the earth, crocodile head, what else do you expect him to do in command? My God already knew they were more powerful physically and mentally, with superior worldly knowledge abilities far beyond the puny human scope. Thus, why he already knew our ancestors would regard them as gods. Saying that, let me prove it. Deuteronomy chapter 4, 12 to the end in the Septuagint. Quote, "Take heed to thyself, and keep thy heart diligently. Forget not any of the things which thine eyes have seen, and let them not depart from thine heart all the days of thy life. And thou shalt teach thy son and thy son's son, even the things that happened in the day in which ye stood before the Lord our God in cherubim, in the day of the assembly. For the Lord said to me, gather the people to me, and let them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days which they live upon the earth, and they shall teach their sons." Stop! Bingo! Why bingo already, you ponder? Because this is the linchpin to why my people have an entire problem in the first place. They don't fear my God. I think it's because they don't realize my God has turned his face away from us. Thus, instant ramifications like in the old country doesn't play out like it used to. But that was just how I see it. And I don't mean nothing by it. Let's continue, please. Quote, "And ye draw nigh and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire up to heaven, and there was darkness. blackness and tempest. And the Lord spoke to you out of the midst of the fire, a voice of words, which ye heard, and ye saw no likeness. Ye only heard a voice, and he announced to you his covenant, which he commanded you to keep, even the 10 commandments. And he wrote them on 2 tables of stone. And the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you ordinances and judgments, that ye should do them on the land which ye go to inherit it. And take good heed to your hearts, for ye saw no similitude in the day in which the Lord spoke to you in Cherub in the mountain out of the midst of the fire. Stop. According to Google, similitude means resemblance, similarity, likeness, sameness, similar nature, comparison, parallel, equivalence, interchangeable, closeness, nearness, agreement, kinship, relateness, which can only mean my God was saying you didn't see anything. I don't know about you, but this sure sounds like my God is attempting to separate us from doing and believing in the things that everyone around us was doing, making sure you don't fall back into the familiar spirits of where they were born and the only perception they ever had. Do you see why my God had to take such drastic measures in his approach now? Please, let's continue. Quote, and take good heed to your hearts, for ye saw no similitude in the day in which the Lord spoke to you in Cherub in the mountain out of the midst of the fire, lest ye transgress and make to yourself a carved image, any kind of figure, comma, the likeness of male or female, comma, the likeness of any beast of those that are on the earth, comma, the likeness of any winged bird which flies under the heaven, comma, the likeness of any reptile which creepeth on the earth, comma, the likeness of any fish of those which are in the waters under the earth, semicolon, unless having looked up to the sky, and having seen the sun and the moon and the stars and all the heavenly bodies, comma, thou shouldest go astray and worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God has distributed to all the nations under the heavens. But God took you and led you forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the iron furnace, out of Egypt, to be with him a people of inheritance, as at this day. Example, the Egyptians have a god with a ram's head, an aardvark head, a bull's head, an ibis head, a lion head, whatever the hell Taweret is, a panther head, and a blue god named Happy. In fact, throughout these videos, we will discover the most wow, did you hear that? Amazing things about the chimeras of the nations. Thus, the need for the 10 Commandments. Saying that, through my research, it has become painstakingly obvious to me. If my God allows me to live, this series won't end for quite a long time. Did you know the scriptures actually tells us point blank there are 2 Syrian nations? Did you know history dictates there was a shadow Babylon and Assyrian kingdoms whose original language and culture had no earthly past, thus forever tainting history as they mingle themselves with the seed of man? I have some truly amazing things to show you, but before we can go any further in our quest, we must first have the right perception of all the original characters in play. What I mean is,